President Trump scheduled to attend an unusual gathering of U.S. generals and admirals at the military base in Virginia tomorrow. This event is organized by the Defence Secretary Pete Hegseth. It is currently being looked upon as a part of a broader push to promote a new warrior ethos within the Pentagon. And Trump has described the meeting as a positive opportunity to showcase the strength and spirit of America's armed forces. Hundreds of military leaders expected to attend. Many details remain undisclosed. This secrecy has raised concern among the lawmakers. Military experts are also voicing concern over potential security risks and the possible politicization of the armed forces. Critics, including Democratic Senators Tammy Duckworth and Mazie Hirono, have condemned the event as a costly and disruptive political stunt that could undermine military readiness. And their concerns coming in the backdrop of increased military deployments, including National Guard troops being sent to several American cities. Across the military, there are 800 generals and admirals of all ranks, and many command thousands of service members. They are stationed across the world in more than a dozen countries and time zones. This crucial meeting, coming days after Trump has also recently ordered airstrikes on ships departing Venezuela, remember, which killed 17 people. Reports also emerging that the U.S. is considering strikes inside the South American country. As President Trump prepares for that meeting, questions also there about the impact of mixing politics and military affairs in a way, in an already charged environment there. U.S. President Donald Trump hosting the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House. The two leaders are holding discussions aimed at breaking the deadlock. And this marks Netanyahu's fourth trip to Washington, by the way, since Trump returned to power in January. Let's get to these live images now, showing the two leaders just moments ago, underscoring the significance of today's meeting. Now, the backdrop to that meeting between the two leaders is rather grim. Nearly 2 years of the bloodshed in Gaza, the deepening humanitarian crisis, and mounting pressure from the international community for Israel, specifically for Netanyahu to end that war. And for Trump, the meeting is a stage to showcase his long-promised role as a broker of peace. Trump recently unveiled a 21-point framework designed to end the hostilities in Gaza, secure the release of the hostages, and disarm Hamas. And just yesterday, on social media, Trump hinted that a breakthrough could be close. Let's just quote from what the U.S. president said. All are on board for something special. First time ever, we will get it done, quote unquote. The Israeli leader visiting Washington at a moment of increasing pressure and criticism, both domestically and internationally. Yet his tone has grown to be more combative, it seems. At the United Nations last week itself, Netanyahu pledged to continue the military campaign against Hamas and flatly rejected the push for a Palestinian state, a stance that in a way distances him from many Western allies. In Gaza, where more than 66,000 people have been killed in 2 years of fighting, Netanyahu showing little signs of halting the military operations. In fact, at his UN address, he vowed to finish the job against Hamas. Trump's patience, however, appears to be thinning. Once seen as Netanyahu's strongest ally, the US president is now pressing for concrete steps towards ending the war. The war in Gaza continuing. Just have a look at these visuals that we are getting to you of the debris and the damage at some of Gaza's hospitals as Israel increases that ground offensive. Palestinian medics saying that at least 18 people died across Gaza on Monday due to Israeli military operations. Casualties were seen being rushed to Gaza's main Al-Shifa hospital. And ahead of that meeting in Tel Aviv, An art installation on the beach captured public skepticism in a way. The piece portrayed Trump and Netanyahu with long noses facing each other alongside the warning, quoting, "Don't be fooled again." And that message perhaps reflecting the doubt that many have over whether this latest round of talks will actually deliver more than just promises. Whether this White House meeting opens up a path towards peace or joins the list of yet another round of failed peace efforts remains to be seen, and the world will get an answer to that in just a while from now. Let's go straight across now to our correspondent Susan Tehrani, who's been tracking those developments very closely. Susan, to say the least, a very significant meeting, but we just also outlined for our viewers the skepticism attached at the same time. It's important to highlight the backdrop against which this meeting is coming. Let's just first talk about the significance of these talks as well.
Yeah, significant indeed, Molly. As you mentioned, it's not only an opportunity for President Trump to showcase himself as a peace broker during this very long war, but also a challenge and perhaps an opportunity as Israel tests U.S. alliance and the Trump administration's alliance with Israel on how it will agree to this 21-point peace plan. Now, Netanyahu has expressed optimism that he hopes that they'll get there. One of his conditions, of course, and President Trump agrees with this, is the release of all hostages, dead and alive. But remember, the grim backdrop also comes from Hamas. Hamas has to agree to this plan as well for it to be implemented and for some sort of peace to prevail in the Middle East. So yes, there is a lot at stake. Most notably, Netanyahu met with a group that supports the annexation of the West Bank. President Trump just last week said that he's not going to let that happen. He does not support Israel's plan to do that. So that'll be also on the table as the two leaders talk.
Indeed. Remains to be seen what really comes out of that crucial meeting, though. We're leaving it there for the moment, Susan. Of course, we will be keeping a close eye on the very latest coming in at this point. All right, let's also tell our viewers about these protests that are taking place. Remember, we've been telling you about the criticism, also the anger that's been associated, and coming at a time when we've been telling you about this backdrop playing out as well, and some of the skepticism attached to that meeting as well. Switching gears for now, gold prices climbed to a fresh record high on Monday, extending a run of 6 straight weekly gains. In fact, the metal is up 43% since January, making 2025 its strongest year since 1979. Silver also surging to its highest in 14 years, while platinum and palladium rallying more than 2%. The rally also reflecting mounting investor demand for safe havens. Markets weighing the risk of a U.S. government shutdown, political tensions, the uncertainty over Federal Reserve policy. Gold is benefiting from the falling confidence in the U.S. dollar, which has dropped more than 9% this year itself. Lower interest rates adding to the appeal of non-yielding assets. Meanwhile, while the central bank buying has reinforced long-term demand, analysts at Goldman Sachs and Deutsche Bank expecting the rally to extend further. The surge in precious metals also highlighting tightening supply conditions across markets. Lease rates for silver, platinum, and palladium have spiked well above the normal levels, reflecting years of deficits and fears of new U.S. tariffs on critical minerals. Barclays calling gold a good value hedge against the Fed-related risks, while Bank of America is noting it remains under-owned, with investors seeking protection from inflation, trade wars, and the political shocks. Analysts see no alternative to gold as the ultimate safe haven asset. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.